Hi everyone, and welcome to my video where we're going to be going over backgrounds with CSS. So let's go ahead and get started. So first I want to show you guys how to set background colors. Now you guys may have seen me doing this many times already in my videos, but let's just go over it real quick. So we have a div here with hello world, and let's just set it to that. And let's do for a class of ASDF. And then if you watch my colors video, you know how to set colors. But for here, let's just set the color to blue. So here you can see that the background color of this is blue. Now you can also set the opacity by doing this. And then this is a number between 0 and 1. So if we put something like 0.5, 0.5, and save, you can see that the opacity of the background is half of that. Now let me show you guys how to set a background image to a div or the body element or any other element that you may have. So let's get rid of this and do background image. Whoop, background image. And so now we have to specify URL, and then we specify the location of the file. So this can be relative or it can be an absolute path. So let's select this. I have a smiley face within the folder of index.html. And now let's set the height. Otherwise, let's not set the height and I'll show you what happens. So I'm going to refresh. You can see that you can't really see the image. But if we set the height of this to, let's say, 1,000 pixels of this div, you can see that the image is here. And it's a background. So it's a background image, so I can't select it. Now, if this image was smaller, I wouldn't have to really specify the height. But since it's not small, since it's a pretty big image, I have to tell it to specify the height. Otherwise, it just takes the height of this element right here, of the text, I mean. And the text obviously is not big enough to show this image. So as you may have noticed, if I scroll down, you can see that it's repeating this image many times, right? Essentially an infinite amount of times. It's repeating it horizontally and vertically. So it's filling up the entire space. Now, if this image was smaller, you would see many more images and this would look a lot better. But so it's repeating it like that. So let's say that you only want it to repeat horizontally. So the way that you would do that is with background repeat, and then you would specify repeat X. So let's save and refresh. And here you can see that if we scroll down, there's no longer images on the bottom. But if we move to the right, you can see that the images will repeat horizontally. Now we can do the same thing here, but vertically. So instead of repeat X, we do repeat in the Y direction. Save and refresh. You can see that here we're repeating like that. But if we move over this, you see it's not repeating. And then if you want it to not repeat, you do no repeat, save, and then it's not repeating it vertically or horizontally. So that's how you implement background repeat. The next thing we can implement is how this image is attached to this page. So if you look here, if I scroll, the image stays where it is, right? But let's say that I want the image to follow the page whenever I scroll, right? So let's do, the way that you implement this is background and then attachment. And then you specify whether you want it to scroll or whether you want it to stay fixed. So by default, it's scroll, right? So let's save that and refresh. And here it's, going with it. But if we set this to fixed and we save and we refresh, now it's sticking to our window whenever I scroll. Now it's also important that to know that you could also have the image in here. So let's remove the class from the div. So now the image is going to be placed in the body. And there you go. Now these different things can be implemented in one way. So there's a shorthand version for this. So we also had background color blue, right? You can't see it because of the image behind it is white. The background is white. Here we go. So there's a way to shorthand all this and put this all in one declaration. So the way that you do that is, let's first comment this out. And the way that you do that is with a background property. So with a background property, first you have to specify, let's specify the color, so blue, right? And then you separate these different values by using a space. So let's do space and then URL. Then we can actually just copy all of this so that we don't have to write it all over. URL. Then let's do no repeat. And then let's do fixed. The height actually still has to stay in here. Or actually, let's leave it. Let's not put height. Okay, so save, refresh, and now you can see that we have created a shorthand version for everything that we've applied here. And because we don't have the height, we no longer have the scroll wheel. So that's fine, but the image still shows on the page. Since my window here, since my Google Chrome is, the height of my screen. But let's say that we do want the height of 1,000 pixels. Save, and you can see that it's still sticking to my document. So that is it for backgrounds. I hope that you guys learned something new. If you did, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. All right, everyone, have a good rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.